So this is the new Spiral Abyss. If I remember correctly, it actually was pretty easy this time around. So that's good. The last floor of 412 wasn't too bad. So that's good. I can't read that. It's about dendrocores, I know, but I can't. With my screen, whenever I look at, whenever I do the voiceover, I can't actually read what's on the screen because it's too small for some reason, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. So, here we got floors 12 and, or not 12, 9, 10, and 11 again, and there it's easy as usual, so I don't really particularly care. I was a little upset that I couldn't use Sino, I think that's Sino, to his full effect because it takes forever to freaking get all the scarabs. I only like got them all. Like, what was it? Oh, 4 days ago? Finally was able to get him all the way to level 90 4 days ago, I think. Give or take. But, yeah, it's kind of annoying. And, we gotta wait for full effectiveness with, Nahida when she comes out, next month, because she's gonna probably have a new boss, new weekly boss, material for her talents, which is gonna suck. And then you have to, and if she uses the chicken for her, level up materials, then it's not an issue. But if there is another new boss, and she uses that, then you gotta level that. You gotta what is that? Grind that boss. I could not remember that word. So that'll be fun. Of course, I've got a lot of resin saved up, so I don't have to really worry about the overworld boss too terribly much. It's the new weekly boss that's probably going to come out that I'm going to have a problem with because we've gone through 2 patches of Sumeru and we haven't gotten a weekly boss. It's most likely that we're going to get a weekly boss, and it's most likely that it's going to be Scaramouche because he was in a giant mech, and when giant mech screams boss. I mean, especially after Inazuma. And as I've said before, for anyone who's wondering, who actually watches these, which I don't think anyone actually watches these, but for anyone who watches these, the reason I'm talking the way I talk is we understand, at this channel, we understand that leaks are a thing. We acknowledge that they exist, we just don't talk about them. So, based off of in-game and patch knowledge and whatnot, there's probably going to be a new boss for talent ascensions, and we don't know if there's going to be a new boss for level ups. But that's neither here nor there. We gotta wait until November 1st for me, for Nahida. But, I'm gonna get her. I will get her. Period. End of statement. And I'm looking forward to it. Because, I want the Archon. I want all Archons. Archons are great. All hail the Archons. I will say, based on her personality, I'm still not quite sure if she is my second favorite or my third. It's basically a competition between her and A right now, because Zhongli is my favorite. 10 out of 10, would not change a dang thing. Everything about him makes perfect sense. He's wonderful. A and Nahida are like 9. Each one of them is a 9 out of 10. It's just which one of them happens to be the 9.1, basically. And because Nahida is this relatively wise, cool teacher type character who, you know, wants you to succeed and figure things out on your own, which is a really cool trope to go with. But she also suffers from crippling self-deprecation, self-esteem issues. There we go. She's self-deprecating, but she has self-esteem issues, which, while I understand, is not as cool as A, who is not, you know, like my favorite flaw in the world, so to speak. That's what I'm gonna say. By counterpoint, A is this badass who, you know, cleaves islands in two with a single swing of her sword or spear. I think she used the spear against the snake god. But, counterpoint, she's kind of, you know, an idiot. I mean, that's not entirely fair, but she's overly... She rather like how, with Nahida, you can understand why she has self-esteem issues. You can understand why A has emotional problem, or has high depression. Has depression, there we go, that's the word. But the way she handled it is just stupid. So, her flaw of self-isolating depression is also not my favorite. But it's just a matter of, honestly, the reason I like Zhongli's is because his flaw being overly dedicated, which is a really good way to put how he dealt with his issues. I kind of like more than the other two, and it's just, like I said, matter of inches, just little tiny nitpicks in my personal view of them, and I like them all. Venti, unfortunately, is my least favorite. I'd give him a solid 8, but in his case, it's just I'm not fond of the trickster aspect, at least not his version. I mean, I liked Loki as when he got better and was more. I think the difference is Venti's trickster is more innocent than Loki's, which ironically I dislike more than like the slightly malicious one. I think if you're going to be a trickster, you should like go full into it and be kind of a little mean about it, whereas Venti is less mean and more like just trying to avoid situations. I think that my biggest problem with Venti is all of his problems are he's just avoidance. So he's my least favorite as of right now of the 4. And honestly, to be fair, we don't know the personalities. We know something about the personalities of the other 3 archons. We don't know, what they're like, but honestly, I could see me liking Maruta more than Venti. Just because I enjoy the more belligerent characters. But, you know, she could also just be completely obnoxious, in which case I wouldn't like her at all. But as of right now, and the Tsaritsa will probably get, like, this really big, tragic backstory. My guess, just my best guess for her is that, so the Fatui are all named after their codenames are named after the Commedia dell'arte of Italy, the theater troops, and my guess is that the reason Piero did this was to... I don't know if there actually is a Commedia dell'arte in Tevat, but my guess is the inspiration for this came from the fact that the Tsaritsa is supposed to be the Inamorata, which is the main character or the protagonist of the Commedia dell'arte. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. So my guess is that Piero is going based on that, and that, you know, the Tsaritsa is the main character, and then we are all the supporting cast of the main character. We're the little minions of the main character. So that would mean that Inamorata, of course, meaning the lovers, that would mean that the Tsaritsa's aspect was love. And my guess, basically, is that the Tsaritsa is, or was, the lover of the previous cryo-archon, or was either the lover of the previous cryo-archon, or had a lover of some kind that was killed, or somehow they were somehow separated from during the cataclysm. So that's my best guess with the Tsaritsa. So I'm guessing she's going to have this big, epic, sad backstory, and you're just going to feel great amounts of pity for her. And if they do that well enough, I may end up liking her more than Venti, because I do pity Venti. I pity all of the archons, honestly, to some extent. But, you know, I might end up pitying the Tsaritsa enough that I like her more than Venti, you know, after she calms down and it stops being a major bitch, for lack of a better term. Well, to be fair, she was only really a bitch to Venti. She was perfectly fine sending out a diplomat to negotiate with Zhongli, and Skara acted, I'm pretty sure, on his own accord, because La Signora was there being diplomatic, and Skara was the one passing out the delusions and being shady and creepy and all that. And then he defected, so it's entirely possible that Skara is acting on his own accord, and then Dottore, I don't know what to think of the Tsaritsa when it comes to what's going on in Sumeru. I don't know. I think we have to wait for more story to find out how much she knows about what Dottore and Scaramouche are doing. But as I said, when she stops being so gung-ho of taking down Celestia, basically, then, you know, I might end up liking her more than Venti, depending on her story and what her real personality is, because we might get a glimpse of what she was supposed to be before she got all moody and grumpy and unpleasant and all that stuff. You know, because Tartaglia said that the Tsaritsa is actually a really gentle soul, so I may end up enjoying the idea of the gentle soul more than Venti's playful trickster. Yeah, I tend to like characters that are what's the term I'm looking for? It starts with the C. Oh, what is that word? It means you're two things at once. Not what is that word? Contradictory. I like characters that are contradictory. So her being, which is one of the things I like about A, is because she is this scary, intimidating, will beat you into the ground, badass warrior. But at the same time, she's actually really sweet and considerate, and can see, like, the little stuff that other people, like, during the Itadori festival, she walks onto the scene where Sara is explaining about the statue that you got as a gift, and A immediately figures the situation out just with bare minimum of facts, like coming in at the end of the conversation, and she makes up plans and situations so that Sarah ends up getting one of the little statues because she knows that Sarah wants one. And that's the thing I like about A, is that she's really this awesome character, this really boss-ass bitch who will beat the crap out of you if you piss her off. But at the same time, she's also a really good leader when it gets right down to it. And good boss. Like, not boss-ass bitch, but just like boss administrator, so to speak. So I may like the Tsaritsa for that reason, because she ends up being like a really powerful, strong, kick-ass woman who beats the crap out of anyone and everyone who gets in her way, but at the same time is really compassionate and tender and loving in her personal life, which, you know, is really a fun dynamic to work with. But moving right along. As of right now, just based off speculation and all that, the one archon that I can definitely see myself, with no real knowledge, just based off of the information we have right now in game, the archon that I can see that I might not like, or that would definitely be that I would not like as much as Venti. So if Venti's an 8, this one might end up being like a 7 or at worst 5, is the Hydro Archon, because just based off what we know now, I feel like she's going to be a lot, like a whole lot. And I don't think I'm ready for it, because I'm all for arrogance. I like a little bit of arrogance in the characters. Like, I like Child, he's arrogant. I like A, she's arrogant. But there's just something that's telling me that the Hydro Archon is just gonna be a wee bit too much. I don't know what it is, why I think she's just gonna be a pain in my ass, but something tells me she's just gonna be a pain. So, as of right now, she's the Hydro Archon is the Archon in which I think that will will dethrone Venti, so to speak, as my least favorite Archon. And I'm honestly I'm kind of hoping she does, because I don't like the fact that Venti is my least favorite, because he's not my least favorite by much. It's just in comparison to the other 3 that I like him the least, or I like them more. But he's a decent character and a very interesting protector of Mondstadt when he's actually protecting Mondstadt. It's just he, A, usually comes a bit late, and B, his protecting of Mondstadt is less active, like fight monsters, although he does do that, but it seems to be more like protecting their hearts than their bodies. So it's just I'm hoping that one of the other Archons I end up liking less than Venti, just because I don't want to have Venti as my bottom Archon. But, you know, I could be wrong. It could be that the Hydro Archon is just putting up a front of some kind, and she's actually not that bad. And I don't know why she'd be putting up the front, but hey, she could be, and then we just go from there. As long as she's... Although even that would have its issues, because, I don't know, I'm not terribly fond of Fischl and her issues, her play, her fantasy world. I'm all for her. It's just too much. Too cringe. Just a wee bit too cringe for me. I understand that she has her reason, and it's a coping mechanism, and she didn't have a lot of friends, or any friends growing up, and she needs it to feel safe and everything, but sometimes I just want her to stop talking so much. But that's me being, I guess, a little bit of a bitch and whiny and kind of maybe a bit ableist. But it's yeah. I'm anyway off topic. I'm looking forward to the archons. Let's just somehow I got onto this long tangent about the other archons, but I'm looking forward to the archons, and I do like Nahida. She's a very interesting character. There is still some speculation. So it's what, the 13th that I'm recording this video, or recording the sound for this video. So I'm gonna assume if anyone has watched this by now, they've already gone through the Archon quest. So you should know that Ruka Devata transformed into a child, and then so there's still speculation on whether that child was actually Nahida or not, and I look forward to the full revelation. But I will say that if it ends up, if Nahida ends up being Ruka Devata resurrected without her memories, I am slightly annoyed, because that's what I thought. That's what my personal thoughts for what the Natlan Archon quest would be was that. So the wording for the Natlan chapter that Dainsliff said was, and I'm quoting off memory here, so it's not perfect, that the secrets of war are something are in the womb. Basically, you know the secrets of war in the womb. When the Pyro Archon, when the God of War shares this with the Traveler, she has her reasons. So my thought process based off that was, and also the fact that the the Natlan Archon quest thing is has the word resurrection in it. I thought that the Pyro Archon Murata was going to die, and I use air quotes for die. That the Pyro Archon died every few thousand years or so, and then was reborn, kind of like a phoenix. And that when she is reborn, she doesn't quite remember everything, and that she was wanting to tell the Traveler something that she wanted to remember.
Come on out, right here, emerge. Allow me. Brace yourself.
I'm watching the video real quick, and I was wondering why Venti's elemental burst didn't start elemental absorbing the electro from Miko's attacks and elemental skill, but that was weird. Anyway, so I thought that the Pyro Archon was going to die and then resurrect, and then wanted the Traveler to tell her the secrets that she had learned in her previous life, so she would make less mistakes in this current life. That was my thought process, but I don't think they're going to use that now, because it seems very similar to what even if Nahida isn't Ruka Devata, it just seems a little too similar to what's going on right now, and I don't think they're going to reuse the same general idea in a different region. But yeah, so that's just me. It's just my little tirade of disappointment. So we're on floor 12 now, right? Yeah. And I do manage to do this, correct? I'm trying to remember, because it seemed like that took a while. That took a long time. I can't remember if I do it right on the first one or not. Is that 8? Yeah, that is 8. So I should.
Illusion shattered.
Stupid triangles of annoyance.
Right. Can't see.
not sure I like these things. They're kind of annoying. Yeah, I think I do screw this up and not do it on the first go around.
One with the forest.
So I do this twice.
I'll uproot you.
Well.
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back. Inazuma shines eternal.
I like these new enemies, the summoners, the ground guy who summons the alligator, and the archer chick who summons the bird. They're very interesting. I will say, out of the two, the bird is the worst is the more annoying summon, but the guy is the more annoying, like, actual character. He's just so beefy. At least in Spiral Abyss. In Overworld, he's just, oh no, you're attacking me. Here, let me just knock off 3/4 of your health with one attack. Whoopee, don't care. I do wish that MiHoYo would give us more end content. I loved that. I like that shop mini game thing that we did in the event that's going on, that's about to end. The Ballads and Brews, the charity shop that we got to run. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind us if they gave us like a shop to run that gave us stuff at the end of the month or something that based on our sales. That would be interesting. But I highly doubt that they're going to do that. So what a pity. But I didn't like the event. I didn't particularly care for the hunting event. The going to different camps and killing them event was, well, it's just killing things. We've done that how many times now? The charity shop was fun, and the looking for the hampers was interesting. I liked that too. It wasn't, like, oh my god, amazing, but it was fun. Was that all the events? Yeah. So the event was okay, I'll say. Alright, on to floor 12, part section 2. It took me a while, I will say, to come up with a good team combo for this, because normally I end up using, because it's the samurai is the final boss, and I normally end up using A against him. But I can't remember what the boss is for the other floor. Oh, it's the rune drakes, a bunch of rune sentinels and rune drakes, right? So I wanted to bring A for that because she does very good AoE damage, and all my other characters that did AoE damage weren't doing really well against them, against all the sentinels in the area. So I brought A, and so I had to come up with a good single target character to deal with the samurai, and I ended up settling on Ayaka, actually. To my surprise, she worked out really well. It was I utilized quite a bit of interesting buffs to get her stuff to work properly. Namely, I used I think this was me trying to decide if I needed a healer or not. And I eventually decided on, yes, I did. I think. I'm pretty sure. This takes a second. like change my mind a lot. And now I change it back. Yeah, so I was thinking of using Bennett with Ayaka, but then I just figured, it just fucks with the sword and it gets things complicated. So I end up using Shinha and Kazuha with her. Do I decide I don't need it? Oh yeah, no, I do decide that. Cool. I know. So I don't bring a healer. And so what I do is all three of the characters are just there to boost as Ayaka's damage as much as they can. So what it ends up being is, so you've got Icy Quills and her pressed elemental skill from Shinha, so that's increased cryo damage from Icy Quills and then increased normal attack damage from her hold elemental skill. And then you've got Kazuha's second passive, which increases the damage, which would increase the cryo damage. So he does the jump into the air, grabs the cryo, and then an elemental infuses the cryo and brings it down, and that will increase cryo damage. And then you've got Zhongli and his shield, which decreases elemental resistance. So it all kind of like mixes together into this major element buff for her cryo and normal attack damage. And then of course you've got her own elemental skill, which increases. So you can see I'm doing 600, 600, 600, 800, or 6,000, 6,000, 6,000 with a hit on Ayaka, and I accidentally just used. Yeah, you can get an idea. I'm now doing. I just did 11,000 on a normal attack. So let's see if I can get this right. So shield, hold, Icy Quills, hold, cryo, application, and now we're doing 9K, 9K, 9K. Yeah, you get the concept.
My apologies.
Wind Strider.
15K, yeah, you get the concept. It's just buffing that cryo damage, normal attack cryo damage as much as possible. And it worked out. I mean, honestly, I need to use Ayaka more often. I tend to default towards other characters, mostly the archons, more than I probably should, honestly. But, you know, we're getting another Archon in, let's see, 18 days. So that'll make some more interesting team comps. I'll probably end up sticking her in a team with A, so I can get quicken reactions. You know, Dendro Archon, Electro Archon should be a good combo, right? Whatever her skill is. So, you'll notice that the parties are going to end up looking relatively similar, just flipped. So last time the team with A was on the top, and the team that will be with Ayaka is going to be on the bottom. Oh, it's on the bottom, but this time it's the other way around. And I do it this way. I make the minor change of bringing Kokomi instead of Zhongli, because I know there's going to be bishops, and I personally think I had like this brilliant moment when I saw that, because I think I handled this very well.
One with nature.
Just freeze the shit out of these little fuckers.
Take your true form, by ordinance divine. Covenants of the deep. Embrace the ice.
Just look at all that cryo damage.
The wind knows.
And they stay in the relatively same position, and then you just keep freezing them, and it's just not as annoying as the last time there was a bunch of bishops in this freaking fight, and I managed to get it in under 9 minutes, and it makes me happy.
Take flight.
Anyway, that's just me being a little bitchy. Alright, and then there's this thing. I've been killing this thing a lot in the overworld because of Candace, even though I don't really use her. Just it's the boss that I need right now, because I don't think I'm gonna go for Nilu.
Shine down. Now you shall perish.
So I just keep going for this one, and I don't need the chicken as of yet, or the Electro Regisvine, because I already have all of the I've already leveled up Sino, and I don't know for sure if I'm going to need the chicken for Nahida, so I didn't want to. I'm just going to wait. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna keep going on that logic, because there's no point. I'm just not doing the chicken right now. I've also done that thing so many flipping times when I was getting level up mats for both Tanari and Kale. Admittedly, I still haven't leveled Kale all the way up yet, come to think of it. Oh wait, no, yes I did. I think she's 90. I have to double check.
Now you shall perish.
Hold her. I know I've gotten all the Ruga Devata mushrooms I need. And then some. Or did I not get enough of the chicken beaks?
See, I hear everything.
It's never mind, it doesn't matter.
Shine down.
I'm getting
Torn to oblivion.
Nahida here in a little bit, and Kale will become somewhat less important. Anyway, let's move on. Well, that was that, and I'm very, very glad. Yeah, I got an achievement, and I barely remember what it's. I think it was something to do with the chicken. And I don't even know how I got it, but so I'm glad that we're getting the Dendro artifact and the duality artifact from this from the Spiral Abyss now, but at the same time, my luck with the Dendro artifact has been shit. Like, horribly, horribly shitty. It's so bad. Like, trying to build for Nahida has been bad. So, green crown, duality crown, and duality clock, I believe. And if I remember correctly, all of them were just shit. Like, that one was bad, I think. That one's okay. That one was crap, because I can see the double HP. And then that one was meh. that's the video. If you found this at all helpful or enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. Bye!